What is going on, everybody? Whether you're watching on YouTube or on X, thank you so much for being here. We are the Investing Bros, and oh my goodness, what a last 22 to 24 hours we have had over here. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more on the show, but we still have crypto to discuss. We got BlackRock news. We got Meta news. Zuckerberg coming out kind of hot here. How are we going to break that one down? We also are seeing some potential signs from certain members of the Fed saying, slow the roll, everybody. Those September rate hikes that people were pricing in, rate cuts, aren't necessarily a sure thing just yet. We're going to break all of that down and a whole lot more. But for the darndest reason right now, no matter where you're watching this, go ahead and smash that like button if you are glad that, even though we never missed a live show on here, that you're glad that we're back here on YouTube. We'll talk about that right on the other side of our intro. T-Shroom. T-Shroom, how are you doing?
Better than I deserve, Tim. It feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. How are you feeling?
It's so funny because it's dramatic because we literally just had a live show yesterday, but I did say when we got reinstated we would have this title. For anyone who is out of the loop saying, what the heck are the bros talking about? What do they mean they're back? Where did they go? Well, about 22 hours ago, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, yesterday, I get an email on our company email from YouTube saying your channel has been taken down for harmful content, which was a little amusing. It's kind of funny, you know. We say a lot of things on this channel. I don't know if any of it has ever been harmful, but it was very surprising and to be frank with you guys, kind of scary, pretty stressful. T-Stream and I have worked for over a year now on this channel. We're building up. We're about to hit 30,000 subscribers. We posted well over 1,000 videos at this point, and it looked like for a moment there it was all going to come to an end. But you know what? We rallied the troops. The community over on X just did such an amazing job. My tweet last night is over 100,000 views. With people backing up, retweeting YouTube. Here's what I'll say. A lot of outrage, a lot of people saying a lot of different things. We're going to talk a little bit about what I think happened, what is going on. I do want to give a special thank you to the YouTube team. I'm not saying that YouTube does everything perfectly, but I've never heard of this type of situation being solved so fast. I think that's a testament to you guys, the people who made your voice heard and told YouTube you wanted us back up. I think that's awesome that YouTube worked so fast. They told us in the email it could take 2 days or longer. We've heard of other situations where it's taken well over a week. So to have the channel back less than 24 hours after it having struck, I do going to give a massive shout out and thank you to YouTube. That being said, I want people to know, moving forward, T-Stream and I have a discussion. We can't have all of our eggs in one basket. For the last year and some change, while we have X accounts, while we technically have a Rumble, while we're working on building up Instagram and TikTok, we really had just put a lot of our sweat and tears and efforts into YouTube. And I want to make sure you guys understand, we're not about to stop putting stuff on YouTube. We're not about to put less stuff on YouTube. Everything that goes on YouTube, the shows, the morning videos, we're going to keep doing it. But we are going to start putting a lot more stuff on other social media places as well. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket because even though clearly this was a mistake and YouTube has rectified it, it doesn't mean it can't happen again in the future. I've heard of several occasions where people have had their channels taken down several times. So because of that, we can no longer afford to put all of our eggs in one basket. We need you, please, 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 to go follow us on every single social media platform that we have. That would be our X accounts. Those are in the link down below. Make sure you're in our free Discord, where that is definitely the catch-all, where you'll always be able to get a hold of us. But also, even though there's not a lot of content out there just yet, make sure to go follow us on both Instagram and TikTok. And that way, if for some reason in the future there is another banning of our channel, you guys will know exactly what is going on and where to get a hold of us. Because here's the thing, guys. No matter what happens to this channel or any other social media, T-Shroom and I are in this for the long game. We are not going anywhere. They can ban our channel. They can hide us. They can do a lot of things to us, but they're not going to prevent us from continuing to bring you guys the daily alpha. And you know what, Tisha and I talked about it. We had a very long heart-to-heart, and we decided no more are we going to talk about harmful content on this channel. So we do apologize. You're going to see changed men from us. From here on out, Scouts Honor, we're going to be family-friendly, and effectively, we're going to be the same thing we've always been. We're going to keep doing our thing, guys, and thank you guys so much. Smash that like button. T-Shroom, anything you want to say before we jump into some crypto? After the charts, we'll go in, we'll briefly discuss what we think happened, what went wrong, and then we'll get into crypto news as well.
Just thank you all the bros that came into Deep Takes this morning and, got to get an earful of my musings and notes. I couldn't sleep last night, so I just stayed up kind of writing some stuff out. And so, everybody who's been in the Discord and on X has been so supportive, and we really, really appreciate it. You don't know how much it means to us to have you all there, and it's just more gas in the tank to give, to keep us motivated, keep us moving, and bring in, financial freedom to whoever will listen and whoever will watch. So smash the like to that, and let's go ahead and jump on into the charts.
Let's do it. Well, you guys, no matter what happens in the charts, this Investing Bros channel, extremely bullish, massive green bubble for this channel. Unfortunately, the rest of the crypto space isn't necessarily in the same boat. You do have a couple of them. Ton with a little bounce back, 3.3% today after having a nice little dip over recent news. Is some of that news what got us in trouble? I don't know. We'll have to talk about that a little bit later. HNT Helium up 7.6%. Aptos 4.8%. Floki 5.6%. T-Shroom is hiding it, but we're still going to get it to you. Notcoin, of course, connected to Ton and Telegram, up 5.3%. And then little old Near over here. Near's up 1.5%. Not a lot, but a little. XRP 2.6. There are big losers, though. Sui is down 4%. Tia behind my face, 4.7%. Akash is still down. Say is down. Aave, Jupiter, BTT, AVAX, even Bitcoin with a decent size red bubble here. Then you also have your WIF and your Ethereum. As a whole, big corrections. Guess, though, T-Shroom, who's not surprised about these pullbacks and price actions? The bros community. Why?
Right.
Because yesterday we told you that a pullback was probably coming before a bigger rally. But now it's time to go take a look at those charts and see what exactly happened. It's not necessarily time to say, oh, we're done, guys. It's nothing but up from here. But do you guys remember the level that I told you yesterday on the live show before our channel was taken down? Do you remember where I told you I thought Bitcoin would fall back down to? Give it a pause. Anyone in chat can go ahead and put it in there, and I'll give you a high five virtually. But you got to get it in there. It was $61,600. If you guys want to fact check me, go back and watch yesterday's live stream. YouTube put it back up. That's a good thing. We went lower, and so I got it wrong, guys. We went to $61,439. I deeply apologize about missing that $200 worth of price action, but I feel like we got pretty darn close. You can see right here, even though it didn't match it perfectly, what I was watching for was not only the rising level of this support, but also when we looked at our I believe it was a 4 hour. Let's check this. Yeah. 4 hour smart trail. Back here, it was lower. So we actually could go even a little lower to 61.2, but I thought that we would come back to that support level and hit our 4 hour smart trail. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So while I got that call correct, let's discuss, am I going to be right about the future? Is this the bottom of the pullback, or do we potentially need to go a little bit lower? Before I do that, let's take a quick look at Ethereum. Do you guys remember, if you guys are on X, I put out an Ethereum video today. No, it did not go on to the YouTube account because we didn't have access to it, obviously. But I gave you a number for Ethereum that I told you I believe price would drop down to. Do you remember what that level was? Once again, I'll pause for effect so you guys that watch my X video can comment and give it in. Ding, ding, ding. It was I said somewhere in 25.65 and 25.75. Guess where we wicked down to? 25.62. Again, sorry, I missed it. I missed it by $3 there. Anyone who bought when I told them to buy was in a $3 loss for a couple of seconds there. As a whole, though, getting a little bit of a bounce at the moment off of that level. Well, why is that? Well, Again, let's turn off Luxalgo here for a second. You're going to notice we had a rising channel in play right here, and this was the next support level in play. I believe this time it was the 1 hour chart where we had a take profit level also when you're looking at liquidity. Is this going to give me Bitcoin or is this going to give me Ethereum? I got to change it to Ethereum. Ethereum had some nice, not EST, ETH. Is this going to give it to me? There we go. Ethereum, there we go. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we had this nice little pocket of liquidity coming in down here towards 25.65. That's one of the reasons why we talked about it this morning. So I'm not saying for sure we are finished, but we in the last 24 hours have given you guys 2 bottom calls for the large Bitcoin and Ethereum prices, and both of them ended up getting hit. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. Starting off on this 1 hour chart, even though we're not necessarily too far removed from that bottom, we are seeing a buy signal coming in on this most recent candle on the hourly chart. You come over here, you're also seeing on the 1 hour chart, bullish divergence, green reversal, green momentum, and oh my goodness, is that positive money flow? Yes, it is. Do you know what that means? That means that the Luxalgo oscillator, what I think is the greatest oscillator in all of trading view or any trading indicators that tells me the greatest times to buy or to sell, is saying it's time to buy Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. Now, that's only relevant information for, let's say, like the next hour or next like 12 hours or so. Maybe the next 24 hours or next 72 hours, we are still bearish. Let's check out what the 4 hour is telling us. Well, the 4 hour, while it technically is still in a bearish zone, it's bouncing off that smart trail as we discussed. And when we come in here to our oscillators, while the money flow is still negative, it's slowing down. The green reversal, you have a really small green dot right there. It probably looks like a blip on your guys' screen. So unless you have Luxalgo, you just have to believe me. We're getting a green reversal dot. Our oscillator is back down to low levels we haven't seen since when? Back on August 5th. Do you guys remember what happened on August 5th? Oh, yeah. Major bottoming out before a big run right there, August 5th. We're seeing the same levels of oscillators, and then again, the MACD looks like it's slowing down. The RSI is having a nice bounce. It's too early to say there's a buy signal on the 4 hour chart, so I'm not going to spread that misinformation, but I am going to say based off a buy signal on the 1 hour with a target of a short-term move, let's take a look here at price action, at least back up to our smart trail around 62,790. So let's just call it 62.8, give or take. If we can mount up a nice reversal on the 4 hour, all of a sudden we're starting to cook with grease and we could start moving back up here towards 65,000 and above. Over the long term, this is the last thing I'm going to say about Bitcoin. We're going to move on. I've told you guys now for a long time, I love this bullish move, but until we break above 65 and start closing some daily candles up above the daily smart trail, the bears are technically in control. We do have some great information coming out over the next couple of days. Remember, on Thursday, we will get GDP numbers. On Friday, we will get the PCE numbers, which will have massive impact on what the Fed decides to do. If those are bullish points, that should add to already a bullish narrative where miners are going back into holding their Bitcoin rather than selling it. And we're seeing people like even BlackRock and others buying Bitcoin in bulk. It's 313 T-Shroom. Do you want to get into some of those stories, or should we do a little bit more TA? If so, what coins should we do here?
I think we're ready to go ahead and jump on into the stories here, Tim.
Yeah, we got a lot to kind of unpack here. Let's take a quick break, though. We're gonna get back into those stories like BlackRock, miners, a lot of other things. Shout out to Matt C, who just gifted 5 Bros memberships. Amp Knight, Don Quixote, Edward Middleton, J Dow Betts, and Buck are all now members. What you need to do with that, everybody, you got about a month for free. Join to our Discord. There's a level that you can get into our Wednesday members-only streams. You got to be a part of that. Seth Shepard saying YouTube cannot kill Tim. Let's talk about that. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that K word. YouTube, please don't. That wasn't harmful content. Seth, you're setting us up for a repeat offense here. Tim, you got to watch what you're reading here on the screen. What happened? What happened yesterday? A lot of people are throwing out some crazy thoughts, crazy accusations. I want to be very upfront and honest. We do not know for certain what has happened. All we know is that 22 hours ago, YouTube did remove our channel. Shout out to BC Port Cop with that one gifted membership. The Biomex getting it. Shout out to the Biomex. We know they took our channel down. We reached out, quickly appealed. And we're pretty much told, other than saying we violated the harmful content part of the policy, no other details were given. I was encouraged when Team YouTube responded to our message last night, pretty much telling us, send the appeal and then wait for a response from one of our users. If your channel is permanently banned, they'll explain why, right? So, there's some comfort in that, I guess, to know what you did wrong. Long story short, T-Shim and I have just been kind of talking about what are we going to do? How are we going to post in the future? Is there a reason potentially we need to create a second YouTube channel, a backup account? When's the right time to do that? We're having all this conversation. We were in a pre-show meeting with Crux, and all of a sudden I get a notification from YouTube saying that one of our videos was cleared. And I said, what the heck is this? And all of a sudden they start rolling in video after video after video. Effectively, something triggered, and I'm going to talk about what I think it is, but something triggered YouTube claiming that we have been putting out harmful content, and YouTube's team had to go through video by video. We literally saw that the first video we put out was cleared by their team, meaning they checked everything. Over 1,000 videos. I don't know if a human did it. I think it probably was a bot, but ultimately, not a single piece of our content was flagged as actually being harmful content, which leads me to believe, based off of the speed of the whole thing, I don't think that this was a censorship movement from YouTube. A lot of people think that might have been what it is. I don't think so. Again, do I think YouTube is perfect at everything they do? No, but I want to be fair and give credit where credit is due. I don't believe that this was a YouTube censorship movement because of anything we've talked about here recently. I think there was someone who just didn't like something that T-Shum and I said, maybe about our political views, maybe something we said about our crypto views. We did something or said something that made one person mad, and my assumption is that they went and mass reported our content just to give us a hard time. Ultimately, goodness and justice has prevailed. We've never once on this channel done anything to hurt or insinuate harm to anyone. In fact, I would like to think those of you out there who have been watching us for a while think of us as one of the more wholesome and family-friendly crypto channels who does the best we can, not to give financial advice, but to help coach people through their investment journeys and how to handle the news and charts of the crypto world that comes flying at you every single day. We are innocent. YouTube deems us innocent. Ultimately, I'm just glad to be back. I know T-Shum is as well. And again, we're going to say it probably 1,000 more times in this video and others. Thank you to every single one of you. This does not happen this fast without support and the retweeting and the voice that you guys had over on X. Big shout out to you guys. If you're watching X right now, thank you so much. Once again, the rest of you, if you're not watching X, go follow us on X just in case something in the future happens. That is the story of the Investing Bros channel being taken down, and now it is back. T-Shroom, let's transition into some crypto stories once again, because that ultimately is what we are here to do. I'm going to let you choose the order. I know we have a lot of stories, but I'm going to defer to you to decide what order we go through them.
For sure. Yeah, well, we'll start with one of the most bullish stories here, and that is breaking. BlackRock invests in its own Bitcoin ETF, 4,000 shares from 12K to 16K. So this is quite a big move there from BlackRock buying its own ETF. Now, what does this mean? This is indicating that they are bullish on Bitcoin, right? Now, of course, they're buying their own ETF, so that's a little bit of some self-interest there, but self-interest is still bullish when they're buying Bitcoin, regardless of who's buying it. So that's the first really big headline here from Altcoin Daily, which Altcoin Daily, by the way, helped us out yesterday by
they did
by retweeting this tweet here. So Tim, with how bullish this is, I mean, do you think that this was enough to pump the price past 65, or was there just more sellers in the market and it just couldn't get that high?
So the way to view this news is not necessarily going to move the boat short term, but it tells you long-term intentions. BlackRock is not purchasing either Bitcoin or their own ETF in anticipation of a much larger crash. That is not what's happening here. I'm not saying that price cannot go down any further, even though what we just saw in the charts would imply we're hitting some pretty good support levels at the moment. But this does instill a sense of confidence that BlackRock is betting on themselves and buying their own ETF. Now, I'm going to be a little speculative here, T-Shirt. I don't know if this is the case. BlackRock has a track record of all the ETFs for Bitcoin. I think they've only had one day since its existence, or maybe since like the first dip, that they've actually had net outflows. They've been one of the few ETFs that for everything except for one day, they have had net inflows or net equal. Was there a major sell-off yesterday that made them say, we don't want to be in the net outflows? Let's just buy up everything we need to buy up so that we stay out of that. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that's a possibility. But ultimately, if they were thinking that price was about to drop dramatically, new lows for this recent dip, I don't think we see BlackRock purchasing their own ETF. So to me, this is a very encouraging and confidence-building case for the bulls, and for the fact that a reversal probably is closer than most people think.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you didn't see it, if you don't believe it, here it is. There's the tweet. YouTube is deleting crypto channels. This must be a mistake. Team YouTube, please review ASAP. So big shout out to Altcoin Daily and everybody who went ahead and helped us get out of the hole that we were in there. Next story here from Ash Crypto says, breaking, NASDAQ have filed with the SEC to launch Bitcoin options trading and now waiting for official approval from the agency. This is ultra bullish. And Tim, believe it or not, I agree. This is going to add quite a bit of width and depth to the Bitcoin market. A lot of liquidity coming in here. Now, is this potentially just a way for Bitcoin to be manipulated now that there's going to be more paper trading on top of the underlying asset, Bitcoin?
It will increase the volatility for sure, but that volatility can still have net positivity or net negativity. I think this increases an ability for people to trade it, but get ready for the massive swings. What does that mean? If you're just an investor, I mean, you watch this show every single day and you're like, man, I know these guys are traders, but I like the investment discussion. My coaching to you, I want to make sure I don't use any words like advice or anything because we're not financial advisors. My coaching to you is just hodl. Just ride the waves up and down. Don't freak out. Don't try to swing trade it. Don't try to get cute with it. Don't think about maybe if I sell right here and it price drops by 20% that I can get back. Just hold through the chaos because it will be chaos. For my traders, this is the time to be watching because opportunity will be there. Now, that opportunity could also shake you out. So you got to be very vigilant. You got to be very careful. You got to know what to look for. And that's the kind of stuff that we teach in our VIP trading group and we talk about each and every single day. But opportunity is going to be there. We are not going to, I think we will see a period of time, T-Shroom, with still God candles where what we mean by God candles is just absurdly large bullish candles with almost no pullbacks whatsoever. I still think those happen. But this is the kind of stuff that would be like one day Bitcoin will increase by like 30-something%, and the next day it'll drop by like 15%. And then it'll increase by 40%, and then it'll drop by 25%. And then it'll 16%, and then 8%. It's going to be a choppy up and down movement with violent swings that are constantly, if you're not a good trader and you're not understanding stop loss and you're not understanding proper risk to reward management, they will swing you all over the place to make sure you get liquidated at every single turn possible. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the casual. Like if you're just a casual trader here and there, maybe you want to consider just becoming an investor for a season of time while this happens. But if you want to commit to trading and you want to see it and get opportunities, this is something that will breed massive opportunity for traders to get more involved and make some money in the chaos.
Absolutely. And if you want to take that next step and learn how to trade, you can check out our Discord. You can find the links to that below, and even consider subscribing to a BroLux membership where you'll be able to go extremely deep with Tim and I and learn how to trade and get access to some of our exclusive watch lists on what we're kind of looking at in our portfolio.
Real quick, T-Shroom, we got a bunch of new members here. Now, I don't know how this happened. I love that it's here, but I sense a little bit of inside trading. Eric Wallen gifted one membership, and it went to Kelly Kellum. Now, I love Kelly Kellum. I'm very glad he's a member. But Kelly Kellum, he's got a world of knowledge himself. I don't know why he needs to be a member here, but I'm glad. Kelly, come hang out with us on Wednesday. Come be in our member stream. You get to be a part of that now. He's also one of our mods. And, of course, a very good friend. Other members, though, Corbone gifting 5 memberships going to Crypto Mar, Ty Fox, Craig Corn. I love it. Midwest Picker, The Kid Co MN, Those are the 5 there. I think there was one more, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Eric gave another one. This one going to Blessed by And Mezer. I don't know. Best by And Meezer. I don't know what that one is. Maybe you have to correct my pronunciation there. But shout out to, first of all, everyone who gifted those memberships. Thank you for continuing to support the bros here. For everyone who got them, we're so glad you're going to be a part of the bros memberships for a month. Like I said, the thing that's going to take advantage of, you get a green name, you get access to cool, what are those called? Not memes, but the stickers, emojis. But you also, if you connect into our Discord for the next month, you can be a part of our Wednesday streams that happen right after the live show. We get in there, and here's what I'll also say, and we're going to get back to the news here in a second. Even though I don't think that there was a censorship issue, we are going to scale back our political talk on the live show just a little bit. We'll still address the issues that affect price action, but we're going to scale back a little bit. If you want to hear mine and T-Shroom's thoughts on politics, there's going to be a couple places you can do it. We're still going to have our Monday night X spaces over on X. We'll probably talk a little more stuff there. We, of course, can talk about it in our members-only stream over in Discord. We might add another X Spaces, and as T-Shroom mentioned, Tuesdays at 10:30, every single Tuesday at 10:30, T-Shroom has what he calls Deep Takes.
That's right.
We go deep into some of our thoughts. So if you guys see us scaling back, but you want to hear our opinions on those issues, make sure you check out those details. We'll make sure in Discord to have that schedule put in place for everyone who's interested. But with that said, T-Shroom, let's get back into it because I know there's a lot more stories. Just want to give a special shout out to the community and all they're doing for us.
Yep, absolutely. We'll show this briefly and then just skip right on past it here. But this is the updated Polymarket numbers here. But moving on past that, a rate cut in September, not a done deal, Tim, says FOMC member and Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic. So Fed Bostic is dropping some heavy bangers on the market today. Bostic began by addressing the possibility of a 25 basis point interest rate cut at the Fed's September meeting. While he acknowledged that the idea is on the table, he emphasized that it is not a done deal. So Tim, should investors be shaking in their boots? Should they go ahead and hit the sell button, de-risk, or is this just the Fed being the Fed?
Yeah, so it's one individual. Let's make sure we're very clear. It's one individual. He's not the one that gets to make all the decisions. He just gets to vote.
That's right.
Jerome Powell seemed pretty adamant that it was time to switch policy. Let's take a look real quick at our CME futures tool and see what it's saying. Well, let me zoom in a little bit because that's smaller than I thought it was going to be for you guys. Excuse me. 65.5% are predicting a 25 basis point. 34.5% are predicting 50 basis points. What is that? How many people are predicting no move whatsoever? Oh, is that a zero? Yes, it is. Then you keep moving on here. You look into November of 2024, where we're overwhelmingly predicting 0% chance of only 25 up to this point, 43% 50, at this point a total of 50, 44.9% saying a total of 75 basis points, and 11.6% saying that by November, we will have one whole percentage taken off of the rate hikes. You move into December where, again, they're just predicting major cuts here. And I'm not saying this tool is perfect. They adjust. But right now, printing in a 0% chance of a rate pause again and a 100% chance of at least a 25, if not a 50 basis point cut, I'm going to go ahead and say here, even though this article is put out there potentially to FUD people or make people say it's not so quick and done, I will be very, very, very surprised if there's not a cut. And I think some further evidence that kind of backs this up. We had Caleb Franzen on the show, of course, on Thursday, and it was a great show. Of course, Caleb had been talking about for months that he didn't think we would get one till 2025, but according to recent data he'd seen over the last month, even Caleb Franzen, one of the last people holding out that we might not have one in 2024, he is saying that he is in full anticipation that they will be cutting rates here in September. So I'm going to say this article is important, and it's something not to necessarily just ignore, but I do believe that it is a false flag. I'm very much anticipating 25 basis point cut. I think everyone should as well. I think the details of that, as I mentioned earlier, will come down to some information coming out later this week on Thursday and Friday. Remember, GDP will come out on Thursday. If that GDP is doing decently, they're going to be able to cut rates. If it's doing poorly, they might be forced to cut 50 basis points, in which case that could be a negative thing. If it's doing extremely, extremely well, which I doubt it's going to be that way, but let's say it beats expectations higher, maybe there's a chance of a sliver of a thought that maybe they don't cut rates. But I don't put high credit into that one. Same thing with PCE. PCE numbers will be coming out on Friday. And I hope you guys understand, we don't need these numbers to beat. We don't need these numbers to be amazing. We just do not want them to be terrible. If the PCE numbers are extremely low, that would be a sign of inflation being out of control, and that could make the Fed think twice about cutting rates, or they think highly about cutting rates and they don't want to do it, or they say, you know what, things are getting out of control. We got to get jobs back up to the right place. We got to cut 50 basis points. Long story short, we want both the GDP and PCE to pretty much hit their targets and not do anything special. That would be the route to 25 basis points. I would put the chances of 50, T-Shroom, as higher than 0, but 50 would be detrimental. 50 basis point cut would spark fear and concern about the future economy. We don't want to see it. I'm not expecting it, but I want you to know we don't want to see it. I think that what everyone is rooting for is let's just hit our goals. Let's not do anything flashy, and that will allow Jerome Powell and the Fed to say it's time to pivot and hopefully have a smooth landing, soft landing, and only have to cut by 25 basis points. It would be extremely bullish, T-Shroom.
Yeah, and that's what Polymarket is predicting here as well. 50 basis point decrease is at 24%, higher than the percentage likelihood of no change. These are the betting markets, so nobody knows for certain, but right. The market's pretty sure here that 25 basis points is in. And this is big, right? Because when the Fed transitions its policy from quantitative tightening, which it has been doing here to fight inflation, transitions into quantitative easing, right? Which in theory is actually going to be very bullish for the economy, very bullish for risk markets as well. You know, there's a lot of heebie-jeebies. There's historical precedent for it slipping into a recession and all of these types of things. You know, who knows what's going to happen here at the Investing Bros. We kind of have a policy, we kind of have a prediction that it's actually going to be continuing to be bullish. But you know, it's a in this transitional period, you kind of have to be ready for everything. Have a plan ready. In simple terms, if you're new to investing, that means have a decent amount of dry powder ready to deploy in case prices go lower. And you know, that's some pretty sage wisdom that the market tends to price in pretty well there. But at the end of the day, inflation has been absolutely destroying the dollar, right? The U.S. government continues to debase the currency of the dollar, taking away the potential of future generations to prosper in this country. Until they stop doing that, until the Federal Reserve stops financing government spending to potentially win elections, right? Until that stops happening, Bitcoin, gold, real estate, and stocks, asset prices are going to appreciate against the dollar. Not because ExxonMobil shares or a home in the West Hamptons is becoming any more valuable, right? Or that more people are demanding it. It's literally just because the dollar is becoming worth less. Here at the Investing Bros, obviously, we love cryptocurrency, Bitcoin chief among the assets here in crypto, right? But if you're in cash, that's the scariest thing that you can be in. You know, we like to say, you know, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. At this point, I'm starting to shift my mindset to don't have in cash which you can afford to lose because of how aggressive inflation has been. And so that's where I'm at with it all. The Fed absolutely needs to, you know, intervene here, and I think that the steps that the market is pricing in are probably the appropriate ones for now.
Well, real quick, shout out to Ernest Lee. Guys, that is the same Ernest that is from Decrypted.tax, one of the sponsors here at the Bros. Thank you, Ernest, for 20 gifted members. Let me see if I can read these names. BTC Newbie, Baba Yaz, AD, PPP, Kingston Crows, Ragin' Cajun, great name there, Dustin Singer, Elijah Jacobs, Carla, Pew Pew Cruz. Remember when? Oh man, we haven't got to talk about Pew Pew Cruz a lot recently. We used to say that all the time. Miss ya. Falco is here. Bobby Johnson, Buddy, Under the Gun with Crypto Bullets. What a name. What a long, long name there. Don Solana, Sock Insanity. It was 20 guys. A lot of names were here. Pakasad. I don't know. That's how that's pronounced. Raybon or Rabin, 1984. Probably butchered that one. And I think that's it. That's the 20. Once again, shout out to Ernest and Decrypted.tax. Guys, if you are looking for a tax CPA, I know it's August. A lot of you guys are not thinking about taxes. But if you're not thinking about taxes, you're not making a good plan here. The goal, guys, is to make a lot of money. Well, you know what happens when you make a lot of money? You got to pay a lot of taxes. Well, the goal with taxes is to be legal, to do everything that you have to do so you do not go to prison, but having a good CPA in your corner to make sure you don't spend a single penny over what Uncle Sam requires of you is very important. And unfortunately, crypto is a confusing place, and the IRS is going to crack down on it in a way in 2025 that they've never cracked down on it before. You do not want to play with it. Make sure you have a CPA. He is both mine and T-Shroom's personal CPAs. He's the CPA for this business and several businesses across the crypto space. Why? Because he's the best. I urge you right now to go set up your free 60-minute consultation with him. Start making your tax plans now. Don't wait until April and all of a sudden the IRS says you owe $60,000 in gains. Make sure you understand the proper plan this second with Ernest. Check it out, the link down below. All right, T-Shroom, we keep getting interrupted here, but these are great interruptions. The chat is amazing. It's a smaller day today. We knew it would with the title we have it here. Over 400 people here on YouTube, over 200 people over on X. Shout out to all of you guys. I already see a lot of you are smashing the like button. I saw close to 300 likes. Let's get as many likes on both X and on YouTube as we have viewers. Smash the like button if you're glad to see us back. Dips for buying said Ernest had good alpha too on the show he did with him. Yeah, and we're gonna be doing another interview here very, very soon, getting him on. There was a hack situation that he's so smart he was able to avoid, but we're gonna have an interview with him to talk about a recent hack that's going around on Coinbase and what you need to know to protect yourself for potentially falling into that scam. Look for that coming out in the next couple of weeks. But big shout out to Ernest and Decrypted.tax. T-Shroom, let's get back into it. We have more news.
Absolutely. Well, that actually does wrap out our news. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You know, the main stories, the main headlines is that, essentially BlackRock is buying a bunch of Bitcoin, and considering they're the biggest AUM wealth managers in the world, usually you want to do what they do, taking our cues from them. But it's almost time here. Tim, we're going ahead and we're going to cruise right on into our factoid of the day.
Ooh, early factoid of the day. Lots of time for Q&A here in a bit.
That's right. Can you hear that?
I don't hear anything.
Okay. Something's going on with my sound effects. Huh.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. But, yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it here. It was the airplane sound, and for some reason it's not coming through. But we're having fun. All right. So, Tim, which U.S. state has the largest prison? Is it Louisiana, California, Texas, or Florida? Take your pick there, Tim.
I would imagine it's California or Texas. And I'm trying to think, what's the name of the prison off the shore of California? I don't know if it's like the largest prison, but I think it's one of the more dangerous ones. Yeah, and go ahead. Chad is give me mostly B or Texas or California. Someone said Louisiana. I don't think it's Louisiana. Maybe they need the largest prison. I don't know. I'm not going to make that observation. I have some of our women in here, our trusted women who would never lead me wrong, both saying Texas. That's Amy Lives Crypto and Gia S. So that's definitely making me lean in the direction of Texas. But there's still a lot of people saying B. We got yesterday wrong. I don't think we have to get today right to still have the giveaway this weekend, but it would be really, really nice. So I'm going to go with whatever the next answer is And there's Matt C saying Tejas. Tejas, I guess. We're gonna go C. We're gonna see. It seems overwhelmingly like C is the answer from the chat. Texas has the largest prison. Let's see if we're right.
The U.S. state of Louisiana is the home to the world's
way.
largest maximum security prison, known as the Louisiana State Penitentiary, or Angola Prison, covering approximately 18,000 acres. Angola is one of the largest prisons by land area and has a population of around 5,000 inmates. And if you don't believe it, Tim, I've got the official Wikipedia page of the Louisiana State Penitentiary here, and it actually puts it at 6,300 prisoners, so it might be a little more up to date there. Investing Bros, we were in YouTube prison. Now we've been set free, and we're on theme. We're keeping it on theme.
I see the theme there. Listen, shout out to Junior and Vino Body Patel, but Junior tried really hard. He really tried very hard because he posted A like 16 times, trying to make it look like a lot of people were saying A, but it was only one. But you know what? Sometimes the minority is the answer. They go against the grain and they get it right. So while we all lose, Junior gets to walk away with his head held high. Sometimes I'm a little dyslexic here. He was right. And Junior, I'm going to have to trust you a lot more going forward because you seem to know a thing or two about a thing.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a good one. Let's go ahead and go into some Q&A here. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I can't remember last time that we got to the 20 minutes left in the show with all of our scheduled programming done, and we get to do a lot of Q&A. Obviously, we've had some things on our plates here over the last 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen, with our YouTube channel briefly being taken down, us considering what the future looks like and how to continue to grow our brand and our company. But we are back, and we are very, very excited. Let's see. Junior saying, best show on YouTube. Junior, thank you for that. Lee Sellers, I'm dyslexic and offended. Report to Please don't do that.
Too soon. Too soon, Lee.
That's too soon for that. Thought Phil says, Ondo, Bonk, and Soul. I like those. Amy Liz Crypto, trying to get us in trouble, says, oh my goodness, let's talk politics. Gosh, yeah. People, they say that misery loves company. Matt C gifting 5 members here. Carl Rogers, Messy Leo, the Dusty Hunt, Benjamin Wiki, and Ryan Scheutz. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Scheutz. Someone asked earlier, how do you get gifted a membership? Well, you got to make sure your monetization is turned on. Money is turned on, correct, T-Shroom? There's like a setting that you have to unlock and make sure you're ready to receive it. Crux might know the details of that. Crux, if you're listening, and you can give people tutorials. It's been a long time since I dealt with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're gonna look at some of that TA here in a second. Username saying VT to lose the first game against their local high school. Oh, that's an insult to Vanderbilt. We're not going to lose. If we do, I will cry. It's not going to be as bad as losing the channel, but it would be pretty rough for my mental state. Let's see here. Again, Ondo, Bonk, and Soul. I like it. Let's start with Ondo. T-Shroom, if we're going to share my screen. Boom. There we go. We had a buy signal here that came in pretty much at the top of this movement. So not a great buy signal right there on the daily chart, but it's not abnormal to come back down these levels and still have a good buy. What I'm looking for, just as I love these buy signals on Luxalgo as confirmation buy signals, not as initiating buy signals. What I mean by that is I want to already feel like we're in a buy spot and then see these things print to confirm it. In this case, what I'm looking for is we never got a buy signal on the Luxalgo oscillator with the green reversal, the bullish momentum, and the negative money flow. We did actually get it back here, and we never got to our take profit area, but we did not have a buy signal back in here. So for that reason, it's not necessarily something that I would have triggered a buy signal, even though that happened. What I like happening, I'm not going to have to wait here for a green reversal. I'm going to watch the money flow on the daily chart here for Ondo. I see that small bit of excessive sellers. I see the negative money flow. I see the negative oscillator action. When I get positivity in these two things, I don't need to see green reversal because technically right now we're in more of a bullish trend, both on the oscillator and technically on the price as well. I know that looks weird, but in theory, we set a higher low right here, and it looks like we could do it once again. And we didn't set a higher high necessarily, but those higher lows are giving us some positivity. I'm looking for positive money flow and positive oscillator action on Luxago's daily chart before I'm feeling long-term bullish. However, let's come take a look at lower time frames to see what it is doing. We could pull all the way back here to this order block, this descending take profit level, and the take profit on a short from the 4-hour Luxago call. That all comes in here at 64.8 cents. So 65, give or take, is a nice situation there. I'm looking at the oscillators. We have some bullish divergence in play. We have green momentum here. We just need to see that money flow flip back positive, and we're cooking with grease there. I don't know why I'm using that expression a lot today. Maybe I need to eat some bacon or something, T-shirt. That's, get it out of my system.
There's a lot of cooking and a lot of grease going on.
A lot
today,
of grease.
So.
A lot of grease. Let's take a look at, what was the other one? Bonk, I want to say he said?
Yeah, I think so.
He said bonk? Okay. Bonk here on the 4-hour chart, testing but holding up that pretty extreme bullish breaker block here on the 4-hour chart around, what is that, 4 zeros, 19253.8. This is an order block that had been turned into a bullish breaker block. If that gets lost, we do have take profit down at this order block back around 4 zeros, 180,102. A lot of numbers right in there. Let's see what our oscillators are saying here from Luxago. As a whole, the money flow is not crazy. The oscillator is not crazy. This isn't overwhelmingly bearish, but it's not flipped positive either. I am going to want to see that flip to be more positive. Let's see if we're getting something on the 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart is good. Some might say cooking with grease. Bullish divergence is in play on every single oscillator here, the Luxago oscillator, the MACD, and the RSI. And then you have right here those excessive sellers and money flows moving a little sideways right now. Let's get the positivity, but we have the reversal signal. In this case, we don't need a dot. We have the bullish divergence. We have the green momentum. Let's get that positive money flow on the hourly chart. That'll start the bullish momentum here for Bonk. It should at least bring it back up here to 402. And then we're just going to ask the question, well, does that get us back on track with the 4-hour chart? And we can keep moving on upward and upward. Ultimately, this is going to be something you're still going to follow Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin TA that I did earlier, everybody, will have major impact on how the rest of the altcoin space goes. That includes Bonk. That includes Ondo. T-Shroom, do you remember what the third one was that they wanted to look at in that chat?
I don't remember that. But somebody did shout out IMX earlier.
Okay.
That might be one to look into.
Real quick, username says, does Tim know that VT has never beat the Florida Gators? I do know that. And I know the Florida Gators have never beat Virginia Tech. What does that mean? Some of you do the math, put that together. IMX T-shirt, let's take a look at it. IMX USD on, let's go Coinbase. What we got going on here? Daily chart buy signal here more recently as we broke above that smart trail. That's a good sign. Take profit on that. Now looking up here towards 190, 192, maybe 198. Ooh, getting really high here. You had a nice little buy signal back in here. What am I talking about? Well, we had that green reversal. We had the positive money flow. We had the excessive sellers leave, and our oscillator was positive. Is that the best buy signal I've ever seen? No. I don't love the buy signals where the oscillator is already closer to the midway point. I prefer when the oscillator is down low, but in theory, it still was a nice buy order. Wouldn't be surprised when I'm looking at right now as we see that gray dot come into play. We're a little bit of correction. I think we're going to set up in a little bit of a higher low. Not guaranteeing that we're going to come back down to the smart trail, but let's take a look at what the 4 hour saying. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the 4 hour smart trail is a better play here. What we're looking at is probably somewhere in the range of 135 to come back down here towards 135. There's a chance you go lower if we lose that smart trail. Now, all of a sudden, we're discussing 130 to about 125 or so. But right here, had that sell signal, we're back down to pretty oversold levels kind of, and then the RSI bouncing kind of off that 50. I think you might see a little bit lower here, but this is looking on the 4 hour chart for IMX that it's a lot closer to saying that higher low I just referenced based off of what I'm seeing on the daily chart. Get that small correction again, 135 to 120, give or what did I say? 135 to 130. maybe 125, but I don't think so. And then I think IMX is going to look to make a further move back up here towards 190, possibly back up towards $2 if all the right things happen to the top of that breaker block. That's what I'm kind of watching there for IMX. Good stuff there. What else we have here, T-Shirt? I know you're able to keep your eyes on the charts better. Matt says, got a request for Jupiter. Do you guys want to take a look at Jupiter?
JUP.
K-Jam says, I love how you draw on your charts, man, like a Picasso artist. I only draw when I need to, man. That's the thing about Luxago, everybody. If you guys have watched my TA, it looks messy, but those are the Luxago indicators. I don't have to do a lot of drawing. I definitely still do basic technical analysis as well. But especially when I'm trying to do these speed through runs, you would be surprised just how accurate Luxago really is, how friendly it is to new investors. Once you understand what the tools are communicating, it really does give you the high probability odds of guessing where the right buys and the right sells are happening. That only happens, though, with Luxago. And guess what? That's one of the keys. You can get our VIP membership by either joining our Pro Bros members or our Technicals memberships, or if you simply buy our Luxago indicator, we're linked down below, and connect with us in Discord, you get access to that VIP trading group. So you don't have to learn alone. You can join a thriving, growing community of traders that are in there every single day. What else do we have here, T-Shroom, in chat? What do people want to talk about? We have about 10 minutes left. Again, so much Q&A time. I love it. Let me know if you guys do as well. Here on YouTube, real quick check-in. 420 people watching. Nothing special about that number. Because we're a family-friendly show here. We're not going to be harmful. Please, everybody, if you have problems with addictions, please seek help. That's not something to joke about, T-Shroom. I don't know why you're laughing. Just kidding. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not kidding about it's not something to laugh about. I'm just saying I'm not trying to single you out and be picky. We're family-friendly. We don't produce harmful content, T-Shroom. And so if anyone here struggles, we love you and we want to see you get better. 382 likes. So that ratio right there of views on YouTube to likes, I like that ratio. It'd be nice if those views were like at like 1,000 and the ratio was the same, but we'll work on that tomorrow.
Solid ratio.
Let's see here. We can do dips for buying. We didn't give a target today for the live trading. We can do one today. I'm just going to go ahead and say we're going to do one. We're going to celebrate together for being back here on YouTube, but we have a couple of minutes before we can get to that. I saw earlier, I see because KJM's pointing out, Paul Barron was in chat earlier. Paul, also one of the larger X accounts helping spread the word about what happened to us. So shout out to Paul Barron as well. He's been a very good friend of mine over the last, I think we're coming up on a year or maybe a little longer than a year since the first time I went on his channel with investors. I went on his channel years ago, I think, but then we reconnected a little over a year ago. And he's been awesome for us. If you're from the Paul Barron community, put a 1 in chat because you guys are awesome. Let's take a look. Jupiter. I saw that there was a request for Jupiter according to Matt C. Let me find it on my charts. Let's start off this. I'm going to do this TA a little different because people talk about the drawings. I don't have any drawings up right now. This was the trade. Remember I did a Jupiter trade that was successful. We haven't lost one of those community trades yet, T-Shirt, and we're kind of on a run. Eventually that's going to fail. We're going to lose one eventually, I think. Let's see what's kind of going on here. There's not necessarily a strong formation in play here. A couple levels I want to keep an eye on, just kind of have these drawn and ready and keep an eye on potential resistance levels would be connecting like this. Now, stay with me on the chaos here, ladies and gentlemen. It's just something I want to make sure people are aware of. If we were to drop, you're going to keep an eye on that level right there. So a lot of things going on here, but nothing definitive, nothing formationally that's just jumping out at me and screaming that this is a big long-term formation. Like we've seen with other projects that recently we've seen a lot of falling channels, a lot of falling wedges that are long-term bullish. This one's a little different. Not really a formation in play here. Let's turn on Luxago and see what it tells us. Now, we just rejected here on the daily chart after having a nice little bullish bounce, rejected right there on that bearish breaker block and the daily smart trail. So that right there, if you were trading with Luxago, would have told you to take profit when you got into this level. You would have had a great sell order if you had done that. Let's take a look at what's happening here with our oscillator. We never really got a very clean buy signal here. You don't have to wait for buy signals here to get them, and there never was a good one. Right now, we're kind of wrestling with, is not a strong sell order, but definitely we're going to be probably looking to move closer to the downside. A higher low probably in play, in which case, let's go take a look at a lower time frame, such as the 4-hour chart. There we go. We got ourselves a nice sell signal here with Lux Algo. Reversals, bearish momentum, negative money flow. We got the sell order from Lux Algo's 4-hour itself. Guess where all that stuff says it should go down to? It should go down to the 4-hour smart trail or the next significant level of order blocks. Well, if I start to get rid, like giving out that yellow bar, guess where we just bounced, or guess where we currently are. We have pulled back down to that smart trail. So this is going to be that first key level. The mixture of that breaker block along with the smart trail is saying this zone is a strong level of support. We could see a wick stretch down to 81.5 cents to the first level of take profit, but as long as we close the 4-hour candle above this smart trail, it stays intact and the bulls are in control as far as the 4-hour charts are involved or concerned. When I take a look here, yes, we don't have a buy signal happening just yet, but once again, the oscillator is back down to low levels that we saw back here on August 17th. And I could be wrong, but I'm assuming August 17th, yes, was a nice little bottom situation where we are able to rally and go and set higher highs and higher lows on that 4-hour trend. So while we're not seeing the buy signal just yet, we are seeing the curve in the oscillator. We're seeing the curve in the money flow. Let's take a look at the hourly chart and see if it's telling us to buy. Oh, would you look at this? Not yet, but green reversal. I know it's a little dot right there. Green momentum, and the money flow is still negative, but looks like it wants to turn positive soon. So here's the play here, ladies and gentlemen. We hit our take profit on a sell order. Let's get some confirmation on the 1-hour, right? Because on the daily chart, we know that a pullback had to happen based off this resistance, but it's not clear about how far we have to go. The 4-hour is suggesting that we could be sitting on some heavy support at the moment based off this smart trail, but we're not getting the confirmation there either. The hourly chart is the closest, but I need to see confirmed buy signal on the 1-hour oscillator. Once I get this, now all of a sudden I'm building confidence into waiting for that confirmation on the 4-hour chart. Once I get my confirmation on the 4-hour chart, now I'm moving into the daily chart and looking for a breakout opportunity that would send the price of Jupiter back up at least here to 106, if not higher towards 115, where I see trends of resistance, and that will be where I'd look for a longer term take profit on a long position. I threw a lot at you right there, but there are some nice trading educational tips about how to read different time frames and let them flow into each other that I hope a lot of you learn something from.
Now, Tim, we had a question from BTC Newbie. He said, looking at Lux, what do you guys use, essential or premium? I've got the price packages pulled up here. Tim, which one do you think people should get?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Up to this point, we've allowed people to, even if they just buy the essentials, which is cheaper, they still get access to our trading group. I'm going to allow that for probably about another week or two until we make it. You have to have the premium version, right? So we are going to upgrade that one to have the premium. But let me explain to you why I also would say you should have the premium version. Do you have a question there? A clarifying thought?
Just so that might send some folks shivering in their boots who already have the membership. They'll be grandfathered in, right, if they already have it.
Yes, no. So just so you guys know, in the future, prices will get raised for our membership options. Lux Algo, like I said, I'm going to make it to where you have to buy the premium at least to get in. But anybody who has already joined memberships at their current rates will be grandfathered in. Anyone who has purchased Lux Algo at this point and is part of our VIP trading group, I'm not going to kick you out. You are in. You're good to go. We might just make the barrier of entry a little higher because we do have such a large number, and it's just time to raise those prices. So I would act on that now. But let me explain to you, based off of just what you get for what you buy, why you should go after the premium. Go to my screen here, T-Shroom. If you look at this, when you buy the cheapest version, what was it called again? The Essentials package. What you will get access to is the order blocks. You also can come in here and play with some things. You also will get the default. I think it has like these symbols right here. So I never use them, but there's things like break of structure, change of channel. Other traders use this indicator. They love it. There are other things in here, but those are the two most prominent things about this indicator. But that's all you get. You get the order blocks that tell you liquidity levels and key levels of support and resistance based off of liquidations. But you do not get access to, first of all, the signals and overlays, which is where we have the smart trails, the sell orders, the buy orders, the take profits, the stop losses, the clouds of support and resistance. You do not get the oscillator, which to me is probably the most powerful part of the Lux Algo tool. This is stuff you have to purchase the premium version to get access to. So not only is it something in the future that's going to be required to be in our VIP trading group, it also is the thing that's going to give you the best bang for your buck and be a real decision maker between you being unsuccessful in trading and being super successful in trading. Having access to all three of the tools, I believe, would change your trading game for the better, and that has to come with the premium version. That's the one I would select.
Premium.
Let's do this, guys. It is 3:59, which means the show is over, but I told you we would do a leverage trade for the community. Real quick, let's check in here. YouTube, we got 398 people still watching, but 423. That's pretty darn close to where I think our peak concurrent on YouTube was. So shout out to you guys. Over on X, I just went off of it. Why did I go off of it? Tim, what a classic mistake. We have over 300 people watching right now on X. Shout out to all of you. Smash that like. I didn't even smash my like. I need to like my own posts. You know, you can do that, and no one knows about that. Thank you for that sound effect. Smash the like, hit the retweet. This is my page, so I don't need to do that. But everything on X, guys, if you want to help the bros spread the word about our channel and what we're doing, make sure you not only like and follow us, but retweet everything we put out. Quote, tweet it, send everyone in our direction. We will be going live on X every single day now, along with YouTube. That's exciting. But let's go ahead and in chat here on YouTube because it's hard to reach chat in X. You still get the nice engagement factor here on YouTube. Go ahead and tell me what coin you want to see a leverage trade on. And I'm pretty much going to do like a minute of technical analysis to decide if I want a long or short and how risky I want to be based off of my comfortability with the trade setup. My goal is always get like a 20% to 30% trade. So therefore, I have to be kind of liberal with the leverage to do it. Let's see here. I see Link, I see VChain, I see Link, I see Bonk, I see AVAX. The fact that I have 3 links from 3 different names would be the fact that I should go with Link. But first, T-Shroom, do you have anything to share with the class? You're chuckling.
They can't. There's a meme that somehow made it onto my screen, but I cannot share it. So
wow,
we'll move on. Sorry.
That's disappointing. All right, let's walk through. It's going to be slightly longer than a minute, but I'm walking through my thought process here. This is a scalp trade, but I always like to take a look at longer time frames. T-Shroom, go to my screen and start a timer. Daily chart. I already told, well, I didn't tell you guys this, but it's similar to others. We recently hit that daily smart trail. We're reversing right now. That oscillator looks like it wants to dip here a little bit more. We should be pulling back to the downside. My guess is the 4-hour. We're close to the smart trail at the moment. In fact, we actually just lost it, which could imply that we could drop deeper here, back down towards the take profit, but it's really going to matter what the 1-hour is saying. On the 1-hour, while we are close to a buy signal, we are not quite getting it, but we do have excessive sellers in the space. We have a green reversal, green momentum. That 1-hour looks close to popping. What's our 15-minute saying? 15-minute actually had a little bit of a long situation, but it's curling over. Let's come down to the 5-minute. This is where I'm going to make my move. Oh, this sucks. The 5 minutes going to the downside. But I think that we can make a move a little higher. Here's what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. 40 seconds, man, I'm not even in a minute. I'm going to enter a long right here at 11.51 with a take profit at the low end of this take profit here at 11.85. That's a 2.9% take profit, which means to get me, let's just put a 10x on this bad boy. That'll get me close to, we'll do a 21x. 21x, it'll get me there. Stop loss, I'm going to put a little bit below where we've recently been, 11.43. So there you go. 11x. We're going to go 11x just so I get over to 30%. My buy order, I'm not entering just yet, but I'm being just a little patient. I'm going to buy at 11.51. I'm going to take profit. Come on now. I'm going to take profit at 11.84. I'm going to set my stop loss because I don't want to lose too much in case I'm wrong. Slightly below at 11.43. There is my trade setup. T-Shirt, what was my time? 136. And I felt like I really did all of my TA and I knew my thoughts before a minute. It took 30 seconds to explain my details.
Well, also have to add 10 seconds while I was fumbling around on my phone to get it going. But
Okay.
So
Fair.
2 minutes.
Let me know in chat,
Give or
what do
take.
you think of my trade? Are you guys going to enter it with me? Are you going to take that risk? I will tell you, again, it was quick TA. It was very spicy. It's very, very dangerous types of trading, but we're 2 for 2 so far, and I think we're going to be 3 for 3 on this one as well. Come back tomorrow to find out how that goes. With that said, if we have not said it already enough, thank you to every single one of you guys who are avid followers of the bros. Thank you so much for helping us get our channel back in such a quick time. Thank you to Team YouTube for being fast as well and getting us reinstated. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios, muchachos.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.